next guest is a very funny guy. He was a regular on Saturday Night Live, and he starred in a movie called This Is Spinal Tap. Now, he currently does probably all the voices outside the Simpsons household. Please welcome Harry Shearer.
I wanted to validate that because...
I just can't do any of the people in the houses, but the outside voices, you know. No, I must say, Dan Castellaneta and Hank Azaria also do some of the non-family members, but I do a whole bunch of them, and, you know, I'm here and they're not, so...
You know what I think is real funny is you do most of the voices outside the household, and you do the black people in town, don't you?
Well, I do one. You know, there's a lot of guest stars. James Earl Jones has been on the show, as a matter of fact, playing... I don't know what race he was playing. It was a space alien, so it's up for grabs, but...
He's good at that.
He's good at that. He's good at everything. But I play the family doctor, who is a sweater-wearing, very educated member of the community who happens to be black.
Yeah.
So, do the Oakland A's rage against the dying of the light, or do they go gentle into that good night? Or should I just learn another poem?
It's Vin Scully's question for you, ladies and gentlemen. So tired of that every time.
Do they rage against the dying of the light?
I'm so glad that season is over and that basketball season is beginning, doggone it.
Yeah, because you're a huge basketball
player. It's about time.
Yes.
It's about time.
How did you get interested in basketball?
Well, I was not involved in sports or physical education of any kind as a child. I got skipped in school, which is the worst thing to happen to a kid, get skipped grades. So then I'm 2 years younger than everybody around me, and I get put in corrective gym. The worst. Now, the corrective gym, I mean, it's probably a good idea. It's meant for kids with weight problems or coordination problems, but they throw people who don't fit the norms in there, too. I mean, I just couldn't run 100 fast enough because I was 2 years younger than everybody else, and all of a sudden there's maniac is marching us around the gym field in our little shorts, you know, in Army maneuvers. This is in junior high school, and this is probably what gave me my love of the Army to this day. Then I get to high school, and I figure, okay, I'm finally going to enjoy myself and do something I enjoy. I'm going to take a swimming class, and I run into a guy who probably should have been locked up years before, who had us, the rules at this high school were you could not wear swimming trunks. Guys could not wear swimming trunks. It was not a co-ed class, of course, and you started the class started by diving off the 10-meter board. And this was a class I took to learn how to dive. So every day, I hit that part of my body just below the waistline, smack on, you know, without anything to protect it. And after about 10 days of this, I said, Mom, get me out of this, get me back into typing class or something. So, you know, I was not interested in any form of physical activity that didn't take place in the bedroom or a car seat until I was 27 years old. And a friend of mine at Warner Brothers Records took me to a Laker game in the middle of their 33-game win streak. It was the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. And, man, the place was going crazy, and it was, you know what it was. It was just so great. It was Wilt and Jerry West and all these wonderful people. And I was just totally amazed. And I said, man, I've been missing stuff. I thought basketball was the Globetrotters, you know? Yeah. And the next day, he took me out and he said, now let's play. Oh. He took me to a playground on Robertson Boulevard down in Los Angeles, and he said, now let's play. And it's the first time I played serious ball, and I got totally hooked on it.
Were you good that day?
I was terrible that day. I didn't know what I was doing. But I had great lung capacity that I'd never used, and I hadn't screwed up my legs as a kid, so I've got, you know, I had all those years left in my legs that people shouldn't have in their late 20s and early 30s, you know. Yeah. So I started learning, and it's such a great game because, especially if you're in show business or any business like it, you know, where you get these weird kinds of feedback, you know, it was great and you know it wasn't, or it wasn't great and you know it was. When you're on the basketball court and you're stinking up the joint, nobody says, why, people will get back to you later about that, you know? Hey, get off the court, man! Let somebody who knows how to play. Yeah. And if your shot is on, then, you know it because suddenly they're saying, somebody guard that guy! Yeah. You know? Yeah. So it's that immediate thing that you get.
It's an honest world. It's like theater.
Yeah, it's really honest.
We take a commercial and come right back with more Harry Shearer. We'll go one-on-one. Usually I look forward to talking to you about politics when you're here. What do you think?
Well, you know, you have to feel, I guess, a little bit sorry for George Bush. I mean, he can't get a budget. He sent 150,000 troops to a war that he doesn't have the guts to fight and doesn't have the guts to pull out of. You know, it's a situation where it's like,
Well, you know, don't bother to read my lips. I'm too scared to move them. Give me those lips. Give me those lips. Baby, what you want? Give me those lips.
and then, you know, at the same time,
You know, here's Gorbachev winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, Arsenio, I don't begrudge him the money because, of course, I could make that much money in one day doing a Depends commercial, but...
so it's weird. I don't know, and I'm not taking sides in any of this, but I do think Saddam Hussein could use a little advice in how to get across on American television a little bit better. You know, something like Lifestyles of Saddam Hussein might, you know. The pleasure palaces of the pashas of Persia pale by comparison to the private life of this very private man. You know, just get Robin Leach to hang out with him for a while and let us get to know him a little bit. You know, that would be my advice.
Hussein. Last time you were here, we were talking about Spinal Tap and movies that you've done.
Yeah.
Did you work with Stallone?
Yes, Sylvester Stallone, not Frank Stallone.
Yeah.
Yes. That's important to say right off the bat. I just finished this movie with Sylvester Stallone. It's his first comedy. It's called Oscar, directed by John Landis. And it's a farce about a mobster who has to quit the mob in the 1930s because he's made a deathbed promise to his dad. And it was very funny because it's a beautiful Victorian house set that we're doing the movie on, and it's got an actual library with actual books. Usually in Hollywood, the books are just like fake backs of books, and you open it up, and it's plywood. But there are real books there. And we're waiting for the guys to light the set one day, and we're just standing around, and unknown to me, Mr. Stallone had sat down and pulled out a book. And he's got a very loud, he's a, you know, trained actor, and he's got a very big voice. Suddenly we're talking and just looking at stuff, and you hear,
Once upon a midnight weary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten law.
I'd never heard it read quite that way before, you know. He's really a big Poe fan. And the other thing he did, which I thought was cute, was the whole house is full of flower arrangements, beautiful flower arrangements. And I saw him actually, I mean, he comes on the set and he's doing this, and he actually punched out the roses one day. Just hit the roses, and they were gone for the day. But
I have to talk to him.
And the roses were favored 5-1, so it was an odd. Who knew?
Who are you pulling for? Like I said, this show will
Simpsons.
air after the fight.
Simpsons.
You're going with the Simpsons.
Yeah, Simpsons, baby.
Simpsons in 2.
Simpsons in 2.
And how about that other fight?
I don't even pay attention. Basketball is all I pay attention to.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not into boxing?
No, when it's not basketball season, it's like I look at the sports page to see transactions, who got traded on our basketball team. But the Simpsons thing has been such a thrill for me because for the first time I mean, you get a lot of thrills in show business. I'm a voice on a pinball machine. There's a Simpsons pinball machine. And there was like a day when you got to go in and go, yes, hit another ball, take another shot, you know, with all these voices. And you get to say odd things like that. Hit it again, hit it again.
Has that been on yet?
I think it's just come out, yeah.
Just come out. Well,
So play me.
Yeah. From The Simpsons and a whole lot of other stuff. The public radio show and everything.
Yeah.
This is Harry Shearer. Thanks for coming back, man. We'll be right back.